Hello friends. In our last episode, we started talking about a very important aspect of our speech. We said pronunciation is as important to speech as is knowing words and grammar. Because if we know the words and we know the grammar, we know how to express. But if we do not know how to pronounce these words, what will happen? We will not be able to communicate. And why is that? You see, if I pronounce a word differently, you understand it differently. And if you understand it differently, the communication is also totally different. Because you might understand something wrong, and I might be saying something else. So, pronunciation is very important in communication. But what is this pronunciation? We looked at a few tips the last time. I hope you remember them and you looked at them as well in your workbooks. Today we will begin with something very important, and that is word stress. Now, what is word stress? Let's look at these two terms. A word we know. So what is the stress? Stress is nothing else but a little more emphasis. Stress is a little more force. Stress is that part that jumps up. It's all of this. Yes, word stress. Now, word stress is something that is very important and does not come naturally to us if English is not our first language. You see, we don't even think of word stress in our first language or our mother tongue. Why? It is because when we start speaking, we listen to the word and we reproduce it. We don't really look at what the sound is. We don't really look at what part is jumping up. We just listen, imitate, and reproduce. Now what happens when we listen and learn a second language? We concentrate more on the sound of the word. We concentrate more on how the sound is being produced. In all of this, we sort of don't really see what part of the word is jumping up. This causes miscommunication because of bad pronunciation. These little parts of a word that either jump up or stay down are called syllables. Syllables. Now this is an important word here. Syllables are something that we will be using a lot. What are these syllables? Now, remember when we were learning spellings of words? When we were little, what did we do? How did we learn spellings? We broke each word up into smaller bits. Yes? Let's take an example. Let's take the word understand. How did we start learning the spellings of this word? Stand. Yes, understand. Isn't that how we learned it? What did we do? We broke the word up into little bits and learned these little bits and then put the word together and wrote it. Yes, understand. Remember? Good. Now we're going to do something very similar. But this time we're going to break the word up into how many times it's broken when we speak. The difference is when we break the word up for spellings, we break it up into little bits, like understand. But we don't speak the word out like that. We don't say, do you understand? We say, do you understand? understand. Understand. What am I doing? I've broken the word up into two bits of how I speak the word. Exactly. Now you might ask, I know how to speak the word understand, that is why I can break it. Exactly. What to do with a word that I don't know how to pronounce? That is a new word to me. How will I ever know how many syllables and where the break comes? Don't worry. You see, I cannot give you any rules that the language will follow, because our English language, well, let's just say, does not follow too many rules. It does have some rules, but it likes taking exceptions. So, what I will tell you is patterns that the language follows. There are certain patterns of how to pronounce and what parts will jump up, of how to break the words up into syllables. But the most important thing here is for us to know how to get these syllables. If you notice, I've been using my fingers. Yes, this is an important tool and an easy tool for us to use when breaking a word up into syllables. While speaking a word, try and see how many of your fingers go up. But remember not to be in a hurry. Understand, or understand, or understand. No, you see, you have to keep a good pace. You have to say the word out the normal way that you say it. Don't stretch or exaggerate it. Like, don't say understand. Then we have 5 syllables in a small word, which is not possible. What I'm saying is, say the word out naturally. Understand. And you get 2 fingers, so 2 syllables. Understand. Yes? Also, how you can learn how the syllable break happens. What we're doing here is breaking the word up into syllables, so we call it syllable break. How you can understand how to do syllable break is by listening. I cannot emphasize enough how important listening is going to be now for you when you're starting to learn correct and good pronunciation. Why? Because listen, exactly. Now that you're listening to sounds, that part is done. Now listen and break the word up into syllables while you're listening, so that what you can do is write the word down and know how many syllables there are. Listening, listen, understand, talk. So you see, every word has different number of syllables. Some words follow a 1 syllable, like talk, me, I. Yes, some words like understand have 2 syllables. Yes, understand, understand, understand. Notice I'm going slow at the same pace as I speak. Understand. Yes, and now understanding, understanding, understanding. Try it with me. Understanding. Me, I understand. I understand. Are you understanding? So you see, 1, 2, 3 syllable words. It's very important how we break the syllable and where we break it. Why? Because it's this exactly break of syllable that will give us the stressed or the non-stressed syllable. Too many words at once? Don't worry. Let's look at a table that you have in your workbooks on the syllables. Yes, let's look at it together and see some different syllabic words. 1, 2, and 3 syllable words. The first word we have there in your list is a one syllable word, which is dog. Dog. You've got the sound there, dog, the consonant and the vowel. Yes, it's a consonant d, the vowel o, the consonant g. Dog, all coming together in one syllable. Now we have three different sounds, but one vowel in there. Yes, consonant, vowel, consonant, d, o, g. But we don't say dog, we say dog. So remember that one syllable will generally, and please remember I'm just saying generally, one syllable will have one vowel sound. So that's a trick that you can use. One syllable, one vowel. Okay? Dog. Now also you can see in this that we have a consonant, a vowel, a consonant. Yes? All packed together to give us dog. So one consonant means that the sounds in this consonant have to be compact, have to be together. They cannot be dog, because that will be two syllables, and we've seen that dog is one syllable because it has one vowel. Okay? So generally, let's say 95, maybe even 97% of the time, one vowel, one syllable. Yes? Dog. Good. And you see, I begin counting the vowels with my thumb, not with my little finger. It's just easier to start this way. In the beginning, when we're learning syllables, make sure that your hands are not somewhere here, lower, where you cannot see them. Keep them in your vision field while saying the word out. I did not say understand where you could not even see my hands. I said understand. What happens is the opening of the syllables, yes, that along with the speech, understand, the mind gets, the brain captures this vision of the syllables, understand, and remembers it that way. Okay? Now let's look at the next word that we have here, which is green. Green. The color green. Okay? Now we have two consonants, g, r, a long vowel e, and then a consonant at the end again, n. Green. Green. So we have three consonants and one vowel. G, r, e, n. Green. But we did not break this word up into four syllables. So remember, don't break the word up into sounds. We've done that already. We have to break the word up into, yes, into movements of the mouth. Green, green, green. Yes? And we said one vowel, one syllable. Good. So green, green also follows one syllable. Exactly. Now, also see, if I take too long with the sound, green, green, I get three fingers, but do we speak like that? No, we say the color is green. Green. Yes? So see, as I said, very important, when you're looking at syllable division, yes, the tone, the pace has to be as natural as possible. So, green, one syllable, one vowel, three consonants. Good. Let's look at the next one. The next is quite. It was quite different. Quite. Now we have quite. Consonant qu at the beginning, I, qui, and the t at the end. Quite. Also, what I'm trying to make you do here is not look at the written word, because pronunciation, and especially syllable division, is only about the speech. It's only about the sounds and how they flow out. Okay? Quiet. Quiet. Written, we have qu, the consonant, I, t. Quiet. No. Quiet. Good. Try and use your hands. Don't be shy. It's these fingers that will help you very much in getting the syllabic division. Okay? Let's look at the next word. The next word is exactly just a slight difference, and quiet. 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 I hope you're not getting quiet, because it's quiet. Quiet. Try it with me. Quiet. Yes? Quiet. Good. Quiet. Look at the word. We have the first consonant, qu, the I, qui, yes, qui, and the second syllable, ut. Qui and ut. Another vowel, yes, and the consonant, t. Qui and ut. So, we know every syllable has at least one vowel. Quiet. Quiet. And now you've also seen that these are two separate pronunciations. Quiet. 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 Yes, quiet. And now you can also see how important it has been that learning the correct vowel sounds, yes, stretching them, I, qui, and the ut, quiet, and the t at the end. It's all coming together now. Exactly. Quiet. Good. Quiet. Good. Good practice. Let's look at the next word. The next word is the color orange. Orange. Good. Say it out loud. While we are doing the practice of pronunciation and especially syllable division, do remember to say the word out. Not just in your head, but with your mouth. The muscles have to move to give us orange. 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 You see how it's flowing now? Orange. Why am I taking easier words that we know? Because right now we're getting to know how to divide the syllables. Once we know how the syllable division is, it'll all flow much better. Yes? Orange. So we have the vowel of o and the small r there. Yes? The vowel and the consonant in the first syllable, or, and the next syllable is unge, the and the nj at the end. So we have the vowel and the consonant again, coming together to give us the color orange. Orange, or the fruit, orange. Orange. Now this syllable division has to become something of a sort of phenomena for you. Everything you look at should look at you as in, how many syllables are there? Table, chair. Everything around you should become syllables now. It should be flowing from within, because how comfortable you get with the syllable division, your pronunciation will flow very simply. Okay? Right now we're getting to know these, so get your fingers moving. Good. Let's look at the next word. The next word is table. How many syllables? I'm not going to give them to you. You have to tell me. Table. Table. Some of you will say 1 table. Some of you will say 3 table. Some people will say 4. Yes? How do we know which is correct? Is it table? No. Or is it? Table? No. Exactly. No, it's not one. Is it table? Table. No, I'm taking too much time with the word. Too many fingers are going up. That's not right. Do we speak the word out like that? No. We say table. Table. Exactly. It's a two-syllabic word. Table. Te, the t and the a sound. Te, and b, the consonant b, l and e. Table. Table. Good. Practice it once more. Table. It's a simple word. Table. Table. Yes? Good. Table. Excellent. Let's go ahead. The next one is expensive. Expensive. Yes? Expensive. Why am I not showing you how many syllables? Because I want you to try first. I want you to see, try it out. You see, like always, nothing is wrong, nothing is right. We're still learning together. So go ahead, try out. Expensive, 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 expensive. How many syllables? Don't let me confuse you. Try it for yourself. Expensive. What you can also do is, while I speak the word out, see how many fingers go up. Remembering that each syllable will have just one vowel sound. Okay? So I'll say the word out, and you try and tell me how many syllables. Expensive. Expensive. Did we get them? Expensive. Good. I'm sure you all got that. Expensive. 3 syllables. Expensive. Yes? Expensive. Now, if you got 2 syllables, ex and pensive, expensive, you could have got that. That's why I'm saying that. Expensive or expensive. Now, the correct and the good pronunciation will have 3 syllables. Expensive. Expensive. Okay? But if you get expensive, what is happening? The pronunciation is okay. I'm not saying good. It's okay. But you're going too quick. You're saying expensive. Okay? Expensive. So that's too fast. You have to take your time. So expensive gives me a clarity. Expensive. Good. So listen a lot. Yes? Expensive. Listen to me. I'm not saying expensive. I'm saying expensive. 3 syllables. Are we getting the hang of it? Good. Good. Let's look at the next word. Interesting. 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 Yes? Interesting. Try. Try and give me the syllables. Interesting. How many? Interesting. Okay, let me tell you. Now, we can break the word up into smaller bits and say interesting. Yes? Do we say the word out like that? Interesting? No. We don't speak it like that. We say interesting. 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 3 syllables. Interesting. Now, some of us might get 4. Interesting. 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 Yes? 3 or 4 syllables we're okay with. But interesting or interesting we're not okay with. That's too quick. Interesting. Remember that little trick I told you in the beginning? 1 vowel, 1 syllable. Exactly. So let's listen to the word again and see how many syllables. Interesting. Interesting. 3 syllables. Interesting. Okay? Interesting. Now, we also have the pronunciation of this word as interesting. That movie was very interesting. Like I told you the last time, English has many dialects and many ways of pronouncing certain things. What you and I will look at and concentrate is at the neutral level. Okay? Interesting. Interesting. Good. The next word we have is realistic. 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 Okay? Now, we have the word realistic with 4 syllables. Okay? So, realistic. Realistic. It's a 4-syllabic word. A 5-syllabic word we have as a last here, which is unexceptional. Unexceptional. As you can see, it's a bigger word made of unexceptional. These two coming together. Unexceptional. Unexceptional. 5 clear syllables. Unexceptional. Okay, now let's look at how these syllables work and where the word stress or the word syllabic stress comes in. Okay, let's look at it. Now, let's look at the same list of words that we had and we saw the syllables of. And this time, when I speak, listen to the word and see what happens to these syllables. You will notice that one of the syllables jumps up. Exactly. One of the syllables will be stressed a little more than the other ones. Okay, this will be our stressed syllable. Right now, just listen and try and see which one it is. Okay, the first word, dog. Dog is just 1 syllable, so that's the only one we can stress. Yes, dog. The second word, green, follows the same rule, and so does quiet. Dog, green, quiet. Yes, all 3 of them are a single syllabic word, so the stress is on this one particular syllable. Let's look at the next word, which is quiet. 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 You see, there's a jump up at qui and a jump down at ut. Quiet. Yes, quiet. So we say the first syllable is stressed. Quiet. Yes, good. Quiet. Now the next word. Orange. Orange. Exactly. Good job. The first syllable is jumping up to say or. Orange. Orange. Yes? Good. Orange. Orange. Good. Next word is table. 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 The te is jumping up. Table. Remember, this is a clear jump. The difference between the stressed syllable and the non-stressed syllable, as in the other syllable, is pretty much. That is, you can clearly hear what is a stressed syllable. It's not something hidden. I'm not saying table. I'm saying table. Table. You see, it is exactly this, the word stress, that gives English pronunciation that finesse, that fine, yes, that fine tuning. Table instead of just table. Yes, notice the difference? It's a big difference. It's not just table, it's table. And automatically, you see, you sound different. You sound neutral. Your English sounds good. So it's very important for us to get the stressed syllable right. Table. Good. The next one is expensive. 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 How many syllables did we say it was? 3. Exactly. Expensive. Expensive. And which one am I stressing? Expensive. The second syllable. Expensive. The pen is jumping up. Expensive. Expensive. Notice it like a graph. Yes? Expensive. Expensive. Yes? What part jumps up, as I said? You have to tune your ear to start listening to these little parts that jump up. Okay? Expensive. Earlier, we had tuned our ear to listen to the sounds. The I, the eh, the a, all those. And of course, the consonants. T, p, k. Yes? Now, we've got them all together in a word, and you are listening for the syllables and the stressed syllables. Slowly, we are taking one step further up. Yes? Good. Slowly but surely, we are getting there. And the good thing is, you're beginning to listen to that. Expensive. The pen jumps up. Expensive. Yes? The next word. The next word is interesting or interesting. Yes? Interesting or interesting. 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 If we say interesting, then it's the first syllable that's being stressed. In. Interesting. If we say interesting, the S is being stressed. Yes? Interesting. Either of the way, the interesting, the pronunciation and the clarity of the pronunciation is kept. Interesting or interesting. Interesting or interesting. Okay? The next word. The next word is realistic. Realistic. Now we said that this is a 4-syllabic word. Realistic. Realistic. Yes? Realistic. What part is jumping up here? Realistic. Realistic. The is. Realistic. The third syllable. Realistic. Realistic. The third one jumps up to say realistic. The is has to get the stress. Realistic. Realistic. Good. Realistic. And in the last word, which is a 5-syllabic word, we have unexceptional. 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 Yes? The good. Unexceptional. Sep jumps up. Unexceptional. Good. So, what is this stressed syllable? As we've seen here, the stressed syllable is nothing else but that part of the word that jumps up, that we accentuate, that we give a little more force to. That's the word stress. Yes, that is the part of the word that gets the stressed. That's the stressed syllable. Good. Now, let's look at an example of 3 different words. The words are photograph, photographer, and photographic. Okay? Photograph, photographer, and photographic. Good. Have you heard the words and seen how many syllables and what part jumps up? I'll say it once more. Photograph, photographer, photographic. Yes, 3 different words with 3 different stresses. You see, if we change the stress of the word, the entire shape, the sound of the word also changes. Let's look at these words in their singular. Okay, the first word, photograph. 3-syllabic word. Photograph. 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 Yes, 3 syllables. Photograph. Good. Photograph. Yes, the first word, the first syllable is getting stressed. Photograph. Photograph. Yes? Photograph. Good. In the second word, photographer. 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 It's a 4-syllabic word. And what's getting stressed? The ta. Photographer. 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 Yes? Photographer. He is a photographer by profession. He is a photographer. The photographer came late for the party. The photographer took some lovely photos. Okay? Photos, photographer. The photographer takes photos. You see how differently the syllable is jumping up? Good. Photos, photographs, photographer. The next word is photographic. Here the graph is getting the stress. Photographic. 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 It's a 4-syllabic word. Photographic. Photographic. Yes? The stress syllable here is the 3rd syllable. Do we see a pattern here? Well, the pattern generally speaking, is if it is a 1-syllabic word, of course, the first and the only syllable gets the stress. If it is a 2-syllabic word, the first syllable gets the stress. Yes? Photograph being 1 syllable. Yes? Photographer being exactly. So it's always the one before the last that gets the stress. But listen very carefully. This is not a rule. It's just a pattern. It can be that there might be some words that do not follow this pattern. What I'm saying is generally. Let's just take the 80-20 principle. The 80-20 principle? We'll say that if 80% of the things follow a certain pattern, we accept it. So even here in pronunciation and in the syllable stress, we'll take the 80-20 principle and say 80% of the words follow or sort of follow the pattern that it's always the 1 syllable before the ending syllable that gets the stress. Let's look at this part a little more closely. Yes, this happens in all the words with 2 or more syllables. Let's look at these words. What you have to do is, you have the list of these words in your workbook. Now try and underline, while listening to me, what part of the word is jumping up. Okay? Let's see. I will say the words out. You just listen and underline. Okay? Let's go. The first one, teacher. Teacher. Second, Japan. Japan. Japan as a country. Remember, the pronunciation is not Japan, it's Japan. Japan. Okay? The next one is China. 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 The next one, above, above. This is slightly tricky, so listen very carefully. Above, above. Yes? Let me give you the answer to this one. You see, above is a two-syllabic word. Being one very short syllable there, and above being the greater syllable. Above, above. And it does not follow the pattern where it says that the one before the last, that syllable gets the stress. Okay? Above, above. I've given you this answer because we've just begun. Later, you'll have to give me all the answers. Let's carry on. Conversation, conversation, conversation. Okay, next word. Interesting, interesting. We've done this word before, so this should be simple. Interesting. Next one. Important, important, important. Next word. Demand, demand, demand. Okay, the last word is etc., etc. Generally, we see this as an abbreviation as etc. Yes, it is etc. and not etc. It is not etc. It is etc. 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 Okay, let's look at these words now. In the first word, teacher, teach, that syllable gets the stress. Teacher, two syllable, the first syllable gets the stress. Teacher. In the second word, Japan, again a two-syllabic word, but the second syllable gets the stress. Japan, Japan. Okay? The third word, China, China. Yes, notice the second syllable is a very short n. I'm not saying na. I'm not saying China. So this is another hint for pronunciation. If you have an a, an r at the end of a word, it generally takes the sound of a. China. It's not India, but India. Sounds a little different? Yes, but that is a neutral way of pronouncing it. China. China, and chai gets the stress. China. In the next word, above, I gave you the answer and told you above. Above gets the stress. Above. Next word, conversation. The say gets the stress. Conversation. Conversation. The say gets the stress. This is another sort of pattern. Here we have the word ending with shun. Any word that ends with a shun, the syllable just before the shun gets the stress. Conversation, imagination. Okay? Conversation. The say gets the stress. The next word, interesting, is something that we've done before, and the in gets the stress. Interesting. Next word. Here, the paw jumps up. Important. Yes, important. The paw gets the stress. Important. Important. It is important that you all listen to the stressed syllable. Important. Good. The next one is demand. Demand. Here, the man gets the stress. Demand. 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 And the second syllable, the man, gets the stress. Demand. in the last word, etc., the set gets the stress, etc. And remember, like I said earlier, this word ends with an R. I'm not saying etc. I'm saying etc. Etc. Good? These were the words, and we got to know what part of the words jump up. Let's look at a few rules before we go. So, before we wrap up for today, I want to give you 2 rules on stressed syllables. The first is that every word has only 1 stressed syllable. If you hear 2 stressed syllables, then you hear 2 different words. So remember, every time you listen, you will have to listen to 1 stressed syllable. Okay? The second rule is, most of the time, or let's just say always, the stress is on a vowel sound. It'll be very rare or never that the stress will be on a consonant. Okay? So remember these 2 rules, that there's only 1 stressed syllable in a word, not 2 or 3, only 1, and that the stress is on a vowel. See you tomorrow.